We're just a couple days away from UFC Fight Night Abu Dhabi, Cory versus Umar Nurmagomedov, which means it's time for me to break down every single fight on this card. Last week was UFC 304. I went 10-4 record-wise and 3.8 betting units up. So I bet 11 units and I profited I won 14.8, so I profited 3.8 betting units. Again, 10.4 last week. We're going to continue that, I hope, starting with the first fight on the night here. Cedric Dumas versus Denis Tiuliulin. So Cedric is coming off of it was a first round knockout loss against Nursultan Ruziboev. Ruziboev had his fingers all up in Dumas's eye, and the referee didn't care because I think that card was also in Abu Dhabi. That was last October. Was it? Yeah, I think that was Abu Dhabi as well. Denis Tiuliulin coming off of 3 back-to-back ground and pound losses. Christian Leroy Duncan, Gregory Rodriguez, Jung Young Park, all the same fate. Denis Tiuliulin's at the end of his career, pretty much 36 years old. And some people are picking him to get it done by grappling Cedric Dumas. Cedric Dumas was able to out-grapple Abu Azaitar and Cody Brundage, which Cody Brundage isn't that good at all. But he's using his grappling to win these fights, and he's coming off of a round 1 loss, but it was like an eye poke. I think he's going to obviously improve from that. He's the younger fighter, more potential to improve. Tiuliulin's at the end of his career, and he's been out manipulated on the ground. That's Cedric's path to victory here. I'm going Cedric by decision, will be the official pick. Next fight up the card, we've got Jai Herbert versus Rolando Bedoya. So I nearly went with the Bedoya underdog pick here, but man, he really just doesn't do anything that well compared to Jai Herbert. Bedoya's path to victory is getting gritty and like inside boxing pretty much, just like in close to like clinch pretty much, just body shots and like body shot head. But Jai Herbert is good at mixing it up, and most of his wins are by knockout. If anyone's winning with the striking, it's gonna be Jai Herbert. Bedoya lost both of his UFC fights so far. Kenan Song beat him, and Chaos Williams, I think it was a split decision. But he's young. He could improve. This could be the best he's looked so far in the UFC, and I'll be left like slapping myself for not picking him. But Jai Herbert, I'm picking Denis Tiuliulin for all the reasons, or I'm picking against Denis Tiuliulin for all the reasons why I'm picking Jai Herbert pretty much. But, like, Jai Herbert's not losing multiple fights in a row. He's losing to, like, an Ilia Topuria and coming back and getting it done. He's losing to better people in the division, and I don't think Rolando Bedoya is going to be anything. I think this is a win for Jai Herbert. He lost his last one. He's pretty much a 50-50 fighter now, which means Jai Herbert by decision will be the pick. Next fight up the card. So next fight up the card, we got Victoria Dudakova versus Sam Hughes. Victoria Dudakova is 8-0 coming off a decision win against Jin Yu Frey, where she had a staph infection on her butt cheek, apparently. And she still won the fight, was able to, I think it was a 30-27. She did great that fight with the knowledge that she has a staph infection now. She did great. Sam Hughes, 8-6, coming off of a loss to Yasmin Yaragüe, which is a 25-year-old that... Sam Hughes is losing to the younger women's talent now, and Victoria Dudakova, you can't pick against her until she loses. So I think the easy and safe pick here is obviously Victoria Dudakova. I'm not riding the underdog of Sam Hughes. We're going to Dudakova by decision will be the official pick. Next fight up the card, we've got Guram Kutateladze versus Jordan Vucenic. So Guram's coming off of 2 back-to-back losses here. He got knocked out by Elvis Brenner in the 3rd round of that fight, and the fight before that losing to Damir Ismagulov. Jordan Vucenic's coming off of 4 back-to-back submission wins. All on the regional scene, though, and this is his first UFC fight. He's been waiting his turn, 28 years old, only 2 losses professionally. I think I'm going to go with Jordan Vucenic here. I think he might... Submission would be a bold choice, but I think he can grit out a decision win here. I think Kutateladze might be getting a little overrated just because he had a split decision win over Mateusz Gamrot in 2020. I think that's why he's getting overrated a bit here. But I don't think he's that good. And I have seen Vucenic a little bit, and I think his grappling's pretty good. And I like his odds here. I'm going to take him as an underdog. I'm going to take Jordan Vucenic to win a decision. Next fight up the card, we've got Shamil Gaziev versus Dante Mays. That's right, we got Shamil Gaziev here. He's coming off of that hilarious, round 4 cardiac arrest loss to Jairzinho Rosenstruck. He quit on the stool. And it was pretty funny to watch. He was just heavy breathing for a couple rounds before the referee was... Mark Goddard's like, "What are you doing? Do you want to continue?" And Shamil's just like, in another language, pretty much telling his corner that he's fucking done. But his corner's like telling him in Russian, "Keep going, you piece of fat blob. You got to keep fighting." But then Shamil's looking at the referee, is like, "Listen, no, stop it. But I digress. Dante Mays is not that guy. He got tapped out from Rodrigo Nascimento, which I don't think is that good of a prospect. Nascimento is probably the same level as Gaziev, and I don't think I'm insane for saying that. Gaziev stopped Martin Buday on the feet. How I think this fight plays out, I think Gaziev gets a takedown and finds a submission. I think it's that easy. I don't think this fight's going that long. Gaziev's got the blubber on him. He's going to get a takedown, and he's going to get top mount. May's going to flip over, and he's going to get a rear naked choke win in round 1 or round 2. I'm going to say Shamil Gaziev, round 2 submission win will be the official pick. Let's go up to the next fight on the card. So the next fight up the card, we got Muhammad Yahya versus Cal Fernandez. And I'm just a little confused here, because Cal Fernandez is a minus 300, and Muhammad Yahya is plus 285. Like, am I off here? Muhammad Yahya did lose his last fight to Trevor Peek. Fernandez lost his last fight to Mark Jacasey. They're both 0-1 in the company. And Muhammad Yahya has had more fights, more wins. He is 12-4, and Fernandez is like 8-2. But I think Yahya is a little better. They're both untested. That's the thing. I don't know if I'd say he's better, to be honest. We'll see that on Saturday. But at plus 285, there's no justification for Fernandez to be that big of a favorite, I don't think. Let me know if I'm off here. I'm going to pick Muhammad Yahya. I think he could find a submission, which Fernandez has never been submitted before. But Yahya had some pretty close attempts in the Trevor Peek fight and has a couple submission wins to his name. I'm actually going to go with a Muhammad Yahya decision win, though. I just think he's going to be better on the feet, and he's going to be a little bit more crisp on the ground with his grappling exchanges. I think he's going to get this decision win, and it's in Abu Dhabi. Like, I don't think Fernandez is going to win. I don't know why he's a minus 300. Let me know what I'm missing here. I'm going to go with Muhammad Yahya by decision will be the official pick. At plus 285, you guys can't get mad that I don't pick underdogs. We've got Alonzo Menafield versus Azamat Murzakanov. So Menafield, his last fight, I have no idea what his game plan was. He sprinted straight at Carlos Ulberg and just got counter left hooked in the first 10 seconds and knocked out. I don't know what his game plan was for that fight. Murzakanov doesn't have that many rounds. He's not like finishing people in round 1 by knockout consistently. He has like 1 or 2. Most of them are like late round 3, or he's bringing a guy to a decision. He does have 9 wins by KO, so he very well could knock out Alonzo Menafield. Menafield's never been knocked out twice before. And after just that terrible, terrible loss last fight, he's going to play it defensively sound, I think, a little bit, and try to play it a little safer. I'm going to go with Azamat Murzakanov to win a decision here. He very well could knock out Alonzo Menafield. My pick kind of rides on the fact that Menafield is not a dumb fuck like he was last fight. He very well could just bum rush Azamat Murzakanov and get knocked out in the first 10 seconds like he did against Carlos Ulberg. We will see. But I'm going to go with Azamat Murzakanov by decision will be the official pick. Next fight up the card. So we've got Joel Alvarez versus Elvis Brenner. Joel Alvarez coming off a round 2 submission win over Mark Jacasey. You know how I feel about Mark Chikese. He's pretty low down on my list. Elvis Brennan coming off a loss to Mixicol by this guy everyone's high up on right now, calling him a caveman, saying he's a pretty good prospect coming up. Brenner, 16 wins, 11 of them are submission. Alvarez, 20 wins, 17 of his wins are by submission. You know what that means. 2 grapplers cancel out. This will be a striking matchup, and Joel Alvarez has been knocked out twice before. I'm going to go with the underdog of Elvis Brenner. I think he's going to score a knockout victory. They're going to get scrappy. They're going to deny a takedown attempt or two. They might roll around in round 1 a bit, but then round 2, they're going to be striking. And Brenner, when it gets dangerous, when it gets gritty, Brenner will come out on top. He's got that gritty Brazilian gene. He can bite down on his mouthpiece and taste a bit of blood, and he can get that knockout win. He's only 26 years old. He can take more damage, especially he's never been knocked out, and Alvarez been knocked out twice before. I'm going to go with an Elvis Brenner. Round 3 TKO win will be the official pick. Next fight up the card. We've got Mackenzie Dern versus Lupita Godinez. Mackenzie Dern coming off of 2 back-to-back losses. She lost a unanimous decision to Amanda Lemos, and Jessica Andrade beat her as well the fight before by round 2 knockout. Mackenzie Dern was trying to strike a lot that fight. Lupita Godinez went to a decision with Virna Jandiroba, which ages kind of well now that Virna Jandiroba is heading into a title shot. And she beat Amanda Lemos in the second round by submission. Lupita was able to last to a decision, which is pretty good. I thought Lemos was going to be a title challenger again. She's already been a title challenger. I thought she was going to be in that mix, though. She's on the down, and Lupita Godinez is on the up. She lasted longer against Virna Jandiroba. My point here is that Lupita Godinez, better than Lemos, more dangerous. I think her striking is pretty good, and her grappling is better. That makes her more dangerous against a girl like Mackenzie Dern. She can deny takedowns. She might be able to get a finish here because her striking's not bad. But I'm actually going to go with a Lupita Godinez decision win. Could be a split. Mackenzie Dern doesn't have bad striking, but I just think Godinez is going to be better. She's going to be able to bite down on her mouthpiece, land a bit more, and get that decision win will be the pick. Next fight up the card. We got Blades and Shades, Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chiesa. Tony Ferguson's moving up to 170. As you guys know, he's on a massive losing streak. Is it 7 fights yet? Let me check right now. So yeah, Tony Ferguson's last 7 fights have all been losses. If he loses this fight, he becomes the UFC fighter with the longest losing streak of all time at 8 losses in a row. Michael Chiesa has lost the last 3 in a row. 2 of his last 3 have been submission losses, and on top of that, 2 of his last 3 have been Darce choke submission losses. Listen to me. Tony Ferguson's moving up in weight. He's got that speed advantage, striking advantage. What's going to play out will be Tony Ferguson rocks Michael Chiesa in that first round. Might not be very, very bad, but Chiesa will panic shoot. And he's going to get Darce choked in round 1 like he's been 3 times at least before. Tony Ferguson will get it done. Round 1 submission. More specifically, Tony Ferguson round 1 Darce choke will be the pick. I'm going Blades and Shades, baby. Tony's got this. This is the most winnable fight Tony's had in years. I think he gets this win. Chiesa has a knack of getting Darce choked. Tony Ferguson, round 1, Darce choke win will be the pick. Next fight up the card. So next fight up the card, we've got Marlon Vera versus Davison Figueiredo. Marlon Vera's coming off of that decision loss to Sean O'Malley. Was it February, I think it was? And he nearly got knocked out in the 3rd round of that fight by a massive knee to the face. I don't know how he survived to that. To this day, I don't know how he survived. He must have heard I bet on him by round 3 knockout because he was proving a point, obviously. Davison Figueiredo won his last fight against Cody Garbrandt at UFC 300 by a submission and won his debut in the category against Rob Font before that. I think he's going to win this fight. I think Davison Figueiredo does get it done against Marlon Vera. His grappling will be an issue, and Deiveson Figueiredo will be faster on the feet, I believe, than Marlon Vera, even though he's 36 and Marlon Vera is 31. That might age bad, but I think Deiveson Figueiredo will be faster on the feet than Marlon Vera, and his grappling will be the deciding factor. Leading Deiveson Figueiredo to a decision win will be the official pick. Figgy by decision. Next fight up the card, we've got Shera Bullet Magomedov versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. So Shera Magomedov coming off that round 3 knockout win over Antonio Tricoli on UFC Saudi Arabia. That was June, I think that was mid-June. Whitaker Alaskarov, that was that card. And Mikhail Oleksiejczuk coming off of a round 1 submission loss to Kevin Holland, and same thing to Michael Pereira before that. 6 of his losses are by submission, which I just want to say this before I say my pick. You're going to hear DC all week going, well, you know, just because Shera Magomedov has never got a submission, that doesn't mean you're not going to see him get a submission this time. You know, he does have ground game. We will see the ground. No, we're not seeing fucking ground game this fight. Shera is a striker. He's going to strike with Mikhail, and he's going to knock out Mikhail, because even though he's getting submitted by Mikhail Pereira and he's getting submitted by Kevin Holland, Oleksiejczuk is getting hurt on the feet first by those guys. Shera Magomedov is going to do he's going to get an effortless highlight reel round 1 knockout win. I think there is the argument to make that, like, he did take his time with Tricoli. It took him a while. But I just don't. Tricoli, it was a lot longer. He might have been a lot harder to get in range on. I just see Oleksiejczuk as breakable. We've seen it many a time. So yeah, I think Shera breaks Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. I'm going to go with a Shera Magomedov round 1 knockout win. Will be the official pick. Moving up to the main event of the evening, Cory Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov. So Cory Sandhagen's coming off of a decision win over Rob Font. He beat Marlon Vera before that and Song Yadong before that by doctor stoppage. Umar Nurmagomedov, 17-0, coming off of a win by decision over Beksat Almacan. The thing is, Cory Sandhagen, 17-4. Aljamain was able to submit him pretty easily on the ground. He's lost a couple decisions here and there. I don't see a world where he can win a decision against Umar Nurmagomedov. Bring him to a 5-round decision where he pitter-pats at range and wins 3 out of 5 rounds. I don't see it happening, guys. I don't see him denying the takedowns of Nurmagomedov. He is strong as fuck. A lot of people are saying, oh, but Beksat knocked him down. Guys, he's 11-2. Beksat was on like an 8-fight winning streak going into that fight against Umar Nurmagomedov. He's a really good fighter, knocking people out, submitting people. He's really good. And the way he knocked down Nurmagomedov was like a fluke type thing, where Nurmagomedov literally slipped to the right, and the second he slipped to the right was the same second Beksat threw a meaty fucking overhand that barely connected on the side of the temple of Nurmagomedov. It was a 1 in like 10,000 chance that it connects that way. It's never going to happen again. Cory doesn't throw overhands like that. It doesn't happen. Umar will out-grapple Cory Sandhagen easily. He's going to be a puppet for Umar to do whatever he wants with. Umar's getting it done, guys. Umar's getting it done. I'm going with a submission win for Umar. He's going to manipulate Cory on the ground the exact same way Aljamain Sterling was able to do. Nurmagomedov is stronger than Aljamain Sterling. For sure. He's got that fucking juice from Russia that they don't test for. Nurmagomedov by round 1 submission will be the pick. Yeah, I'm going to be a Russian fan this week. Yeah. Umar Nurmagomedov by round 1 sub. It's an easy pick, I think. I don't see Cory Sandhagen being able to pitter-pat at range for 5 rounds. I think that's a fairy tale ending. That's like he literally has to fight a perfect fight to win this. 100% perfect. Umar has to get his takedowns denied, clinch denied. Cory has to keep him at range the entire time, not get hit with a big shot on the feet. Cory has to fight a perfect fight to bring him to a 5-round decision, because that's the only chance he has here. He's not knocking out Umar. He's not submitting Umar. Umar is getting it done. Umar round 1 submission would be the pick. Let me know what you guys think. Let's go.